Good afternoon, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. I hope you all had a very good lunch today and are ready to get into this episode of Unspoken. I, Maheshwari Balan, on behalf of DBR Forum, welcome you all for the fourth episode of Unspoken. This episode will be basically focusing on trafficking for child labor and what we can do individual to cope with this situation. We will be starting this program with a skit performance by Margaret Bosco Bal Southern Children from Goa. The participants for the program are Ashish, Siddhappa, Karan, Francis, Jayasuriya, Afrit, Simon, Shahrukh, Brother Arun, Ashwin, Aditya, Kavish, Sarvesh, and Rohit. It is produced by Sir Glynn and directed by Father Jose. Over to Margaret Bosco Balsadin.
This is a scene from a construction site. The conditions are harsh. The site owner is approached by a man bringing in a child, his nephew. After much talk and negotiation, the relative agrees to a fixed amount and leaves the boy to his misery. Without wasting any time, the site owner puts the boy to work. At one point, the boy, weak in strength, dropped the heavy gamela. The site owner wastes no time in raising his hand on the child. And in fear, the child continues his work. The work bell rings. All move to collect their wage. When the boy approaches, the owner pockets some of the money and pays the child very less. Disappointed, the child leaves. The child, all hungry but determined, stands under a street lamp and reads his book. Late into the night, a passerby notices the child. अरे बेटा तुम इतनी रात को यहाँ पर क्या कर रहे हो? मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ। यहाँ पर इतनी रात को तो तुम दिन भर क्या करते हो? मैं दिन भर कंस्ट्रक्शन काम करता हूँ। काम? तुम स्कूल नहीं जाते? नहीं, मेरे माता पिता दोनों गुजर गए। वो बहुत बुरा हुआ। तुम्हें पढ़ना है? हाँ। सुनो, अगर मैं तुम्हें पढ़ाई में हेल्प मदद करता तो तुम पढ़ोगे? हाँ। तुम कहाँ पर काम करते हो? नहीं, आगे उधर कंस्ट्रक्शन, हाँ, बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा हूँ। तो मैं तुम्हें कल मिलूंगा, ठीक है? The boy is seen working at the construction site. Three men, the passerby and two in casual wear, approach the site and passerby identifies the boy. The two men question the site owner. Upon questioning, it is found that the site owner had He illegally employed many children. He is arrested and the child is rescued. The child is seen studying and enjoying with other children.
Maheshwari, unmute. Maheshwari, unmute.
Sorry. This was an amazing performance. Going into the introductory part of fourth episode of Unspoken. For this, I would like to welcome Mr. Srinath PT to let us know about the introductory part of Unspoken and also about what exactly it talks about. Over to Mr. Srinath PT.
Appeared in the workplaces. Of child labor through sustainable solution to poverty. Can you imagine the life of the children who are trafficked for child labor? Children live in fear and distress instead of joy and opportunities to grow. Can we do something to stop trafficking for child labor? How we can make a full stop to this crime against humanity and childhood? What will be our roles in this Herculean task? I would like to conclude this welcome note by sharing a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. It goes like this: he who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. Let us pay attention to the voice of Ms. Naina and learn about our roles to act against this cruelty. I hope it would encourage all of us to do our part in this effort. So, all of you, please listen to the voice of Naina in the fourth episode of The Unspoken. Naina, thank you.
Thank you, Srinath. Has also been associated with DBR Forum since last 1 year, would be focusing on the main aspect of what we as an individual can do in such kind of situation. This present presentation is definitely going to help us in understanding what exactly is the current scenario and how we as an individual can contribute to the world. Over to Ms. Nana Lisa John.
Thank you, Maheshwari. I hope my presentation is visible to you all. Yes, so without further ado, let's move on to the session. I was 9 years old. I lived with my parents and brother in a village. I never went to school because in my village, people thought sending girls to school is simply a waste of money. One day, I was strolling towards the forest in search of firewood. On my way back home, I found a car parked in front of my home. It was unusual to find cars or other vehicles in my village. I found that people from the city had come to take me along with them. They promised me quality education and a peaceful life in the city. I quickly agreed as I heard that I will be enrolled. The next day, I packed some clothes and bid my family goodbye. I smiled as I thought I will be soon going to a school. After hours and hours of driving, the car stopped. I looked out of the window. It was not a school, it was a factory. They took me inside and described how the machines work. I was confused. Why would an 8-year ever be taken to a factory? and explained of how the machines work. They told me that I would be working in that factory. I had so many questions, but they shut me down. The very next day, I was forced to work in that factory with hundreds of other children my age. I worked there for 5 months. Some children had been working in that factory for more than 5 years continuously without complaining. Their dreams and hopes for their future had been suppressed a long time ago. But I couldn't take it anymore. I had to leave. So I ran away when everyone was asleep. I slept on the street for next few days, went from one place to other in search of food and shelter, asking for help. After 10 days of living my life on streets, some people gave me food, warm clothes, and took me to a foster home. Their smile radiated warmth and kindness. Since then, I have been staying. That's when she burst into tears. The story I just narrated was a story of a girl whom I met when I was donating some of my clothes to the children in the foster home. She was a victim of child trafficking and child labor. There are many such serious cases of child labor all across the world, but it's just that we are unaware of it. So, who are these children who are trafficked? Most of the time, it is the children of poor and marginalized communities who are trafficked and are forced into labor. Parents of these children are either betrayed or lured due to their poor socio-economic conditions, thus forcing them to send or sell their children for a better livelihood options. The lack of awareness is another situation that traffickers exploit, especially when it comes to uneducated poor living in slum and also other backward regions in the country. Traffickers promise parents of young children that they will be given daily wages or their children will be given education. But what happens is that these traffickers take these children to big cities where they are treated as commodities. These are some of the areas where we can find child labor. So, a large number of children work at brick making sites, stone quarries, uh, construction sites of building, houses, and roads. Their work mostly involves lifting and carrying heavy loads. They work under pathetic conditions. Also, another area is agriculture. We all know that India is mostly an agrarian country. The 2011 census data shows that the agriculture sector might be India's biggest buyer of child labor. Children are hired for everything from cotton to cotton seed production to sugarcane, soybean, and paddy transplantation. And they work for long hours and they are paid very low income. Children working in agriculture related activities mostly live within the family and may not be subjected to abuse or harsh treatment, although they also face work related hazards and they are usually deprived of education and proper healthcare. We also have children working as domestic help, children working in hotels, in small shops. This is a highly unorganized sector and also an invisible one. Children are often brought into employment by families, relatives, and friends, while some of them are brought to work as a friendly gesture also. But what happens most of the time is that these children are sold and trafficked. Very often, it is the parents themselves who send their children to work, sometimes in exchange of debt, thereby putting the child into bondage. Child domestic labor or labor in hotels or children working in small shops does not really come under the category of hazardous occupations. But very little attention, and also this is the reason why these areas get a very little attention. However, there also have been incidents of abuse and torture, even death of child domestic workers. So this shows that just like other areas of child labor, this is also as hazardous as all of them. A lot of children who are forced into labor works in Brooklyn. A report by Anti-Slavery International Volunteers for Social Justice 2017 reveals that children make a third of the total population in the Brooklyn. Children aged from 5 to 14 are reported to be working for an average of 7 to 9 hours a day. That is maximum more hours in summers and less hours in winters. And also the children above 14 years, it's reported that they work for 10 to 12 hours a day. So let's move on to the fashion industry. Child labor is a particular issue for fashion because much of the supply chain requires low skilled labor and children are employed for a very low pay. Employers find it easier and profitable to employ children. For example, in cotton picking, employers prefer to hire children for their small fingers, which do not damage the crop. Also, by employing children, there will be more production at a very low cost. For example, again, in mica industry, the children are paid 2 to 3 rupees for 1 kg of mica, which is then sold for 300 to 400 rupees in the market. Children are also seen as obedient workers who slip under the radar, making them easy to manage. There is no supervision or social control mechanisms, no unions that can help them to bargain for a better working conditions. These are very low skilled workers without a voice. So these exploiters consider them as easy targets. Also, employers, it's easy for employers to get away with this because because fashion supply chain is a hugely complex and it is hard for companies to control each and every stage of production. So that makes it possible to employ children without big brands even getting to know about it. Even when brands have strict guidelines in place for suppliers, work often gets subcontracted to other factories that the buyer may not even know about. Like I said before, companies may have an ethical guidelines that they have established, but the because of high demand from consumers results in companies putting a very large amount of pressure on their manufacturers to quickly produce mass amount of product. Once factories realize that they can't produce what is being asked for them, that's when they subcontract their work to other factories where there's a possibility that child labor is practiced. And by subcontracting these company factories, it makes production in mass amounts at a very low cost. Now I would like to invite Sajid, who has been a victim of child labor. He started working when he was 12 years old. He has also been a part of Child Friendly Vadodara from last 1 year. Sajid, over to you.
Thank you, Naina. Good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I will explain my life experience, how I came to in child labor. So first of all, I was a child, my parents were died. So in my family, I and my two younger brother was there. So I have a responsibility that I have to fulfill my family needs and wants. So in my family, elder families member are there. So I used to work in a hotel, restaurants from the age of 12 years. So in a Delhi, I was to work in a hotel, right, serving customers foods and all like that. So I worked there for 1 year, and then suddenly I got pressure by the family relative that my bhabhi was there, so she forced to me to do more hard work. So I'm not able to work and not able to give money to her. So I ran away from Delhi and I came back to in Bombay. So I worked there. My friend was there, Vicky. So he told me that you have a Don Bosco NGO in Wadala. So I and Vicky both went there and stayed there for 1 year. And I've seen lots of uh, children are there and staying. So I stay there 1 year, and then after that they put me in education for school. So I didn't like because I have never gone to school, but he has given me only 50 rupees in that time. So I didn't like, and but I don't have a choice, so I have there work forcefully. And after that I came to Gujarat, Don Bosco Isnihale. That time Father Roger was there, so he take it me, and I stay there in Don Bosco around 8 years, and I completed my education here only. And after that, completing my education, I've joined one NGO in uh, Don Bosco only, Don Bosco Isnihale. So right now I'm working in a child friendly Vadodara from last 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sajid, for sharing your experience. So, what is that children can do, or what is that we can teach our children to do? So, we have to tell our children, if someone approaches them, if some stranger approaches them, tries to give them direction or make them feel uncomfortable in any way, try to walk away from that and come and tell an elder. We have to tell them not to talk to any strangers, and don't let anyone pressure them into going to a certain place with them. Don't take anything from strangers and never give out personal information. If unfortunately something happens, and if we should tell our children not to run away, because and instead of that, maybe try finding an elder person and try speaking to them instead of keeping it within them. Also, the most important thing, tell the children about 1098. Tell them about the child helpline. Talk to them about trafficking. Talk to them about child trafficking. Tell them what should they do if something like this comes up. So what can you do if you suspect trafficking? Some of the warning signs could be uh, some of the warning signs can be, first of all, pay attention to appearance. Look for physical evidence of violence, beating, starvation, burn marks, cuts, bruises, signs of restraints or torture. Oftentimes what happens is that these physical signs could also be covered with makeup. Traffickers also brand and mark their victims. Beware of tattoos. Look for anything out of place, like a homeless child with expensive electronics, homeless child with expensive clothes. Look for malnutrition, signs of neglect. Some of the emotional indicators also could be downcast eyes, poor posture, lack of facial expression, avoiding eye contact, and maybe the victim can also get startled easily. These children can also look towards others when a question is directed towards them, and also they might want others to answer on behalf of them. Some of the behavioral signs could be these children might appear to be disoriented, confused. Sometimes they might also talk about traveling, but they might not have much knowledge about travel plan, or also they might not be aware of their current location. They might be accompanied with a controlling or a dominating person who appears to be older, and the victim may use rehearsed lines in the conversation. So, if you suspect child trafficking, first observe. If you encounter a strange situation, take time to observe, assess, and listen into conversations. Look for signs that indicate trafficking or abuse. Don't overreact, but mentally make a list of descriptive information that can be given to the law enforcement. Then speak up. Talk directly to the victim and start a conversation. Ask personal questions like what they do, or what their name is, where they go to school, or where they are from. Engaging in such small talk will help you assess the situation and look for more signs. Also, mentally note if they don't make eye contact, or they act nervous, or they look at someone else before answering, or if they don't answer at all. And in the end, report. Most of us, even if most of us find a child, even most of us child find a trafficked child, what we generally do is we don't get involved. Don't do that. We need to get involved. We have to be their voice. So report what you see. Call 100 or 1098 and give all the information, and also follow up with that case. So, what can we as an individual or as a community do to stop child trafficking? First, begin with yourself. Refrain from employing children to clean your house, take care of your younger ones, doing your dishes, washing your car, and make sure that child domestic workers are not employed in your neighbor's house, in your relative's house. Should employ the poor adults in need of employment, consumer product. Ask your retailer, manufacturers, or the shopkeeper if their brand is child labor free. They might not always have an answer, as sometimes the supply chain has many layers, and the end seller might not be aware where it is coming from. But at least you have asked for it. This will make them think. Many might even be encouraged to investigate and ensure if child labor was involved in the business. You can also suggest them to put up a proud declaration on their premises stating that my business is child labor free. Another option is to make a conscientious decision to go with organizations like Goodweave, formerly known as Rugmark. This is a global network of organizations committed to end child labor in carpet and ready-made garment industry. Another thing you can do is educate yourself on the laws. One of the first steps to making the society child labor free is to yourself know about the provisions laid down in your constitution for the protection of children, as well as the various laws in place to stop their exploitation and ensure prosecution for the offenders. Once you are aware of this, you are better equipped to assess the situation at hand and to warn the offenders around you. Be vigilant and get involved. Be aware of any form of child abuse or exploitation happening around you and get involved. Like I mentioned before, don't think that this is too much of work. Remember, such children need us to be their voices. Know about the concerned authorities in your locality. For example, RWA head, NGOs, CBOs active in your area. When you come across any case of child labor in your surroundings, immediately inform the police or call child helpline at 1098 or reach out immediately to NGOs or CBOs in your locality. You can either inform these concerned authorities personally or through a phone call. In the end, ensure a child-free community. Engaged with RWA in your locality to address the issue of child labor. Persuade them to make it a key priority to ensure that the locality is child labor free. Regular meetings with residents can be organized where they are encouraged to keep only adult as domestic helpers and are asked to report cases of child labor around them. You can also engage with RWA to hold meeting with the children of the families residing in your locality, because after all, who better than children to speak up for their fellow children? Now, I would like to welcome Father Leo, who is the director of Chennai province. He has been closely knit with CCIs and Child Helpline, and he have a lot of experience in this area. Over to you, Father.
So, good evening to all. So nice meeting you, all of you. You know, it has been wonderful experience working in Childline for almost 5 years. We have rescued this financial year. And I'd like to share a few of our rescue process, how we rescued these children. Child labor is one form of cruel exploitation of these children, especially of their rights and dignity. And we observed that 10 boys were working in a hotel in a central part of Chennai. And our team, together with the help of Child Labor Department and, Bachwan Bacho Andolan and Special Juvenile Police Unit, we went to the shop. But, they had to go as a customer to take tea and coffee. And they found that a lot of boys were working. And of course, police had to intervene and ask these hotel unit members how many people are working class. They should not stay in an unsafe situation, even if they are 16. So we had to rescue them with the help of police and with the Child Labor Department. They were produced before CWC. And you know what we did? We also make sure that these people pay the compensation for these children. Rupees 23,983 was deposited in their bank account under Child Labor and Adolescent Labor Prohibition Act 1986 and 2016. So, which were from Bihar and Nepal. And another case was that it was rescued in a railway child line. There was one boy crying in the railway station, and after some inquiry, he was put in the open shelter. And during the counseling process, the boy revealed that making toys and pani puri selling. So these boys are from Bihar and Jharkhand. They are all my friends. They are all working here. We can't come out. I somehow escaped from this place. That's how I came to railway station. I wanted to run away. and get back to my home. But he was put back into the open shelter. But during the counseling process, we came to know that not only this boy, there are other boys also were involved, were trafficked for this type of bonded labor. In fact, actually, they were given rupees 10,000 for the family, and they were doing this job. And this was a tedious process. First case was involving child labor department or labor department. The second case under the section 12 of the Bonded Labor Abolition Act 1976 and 2016. So this was another process where we had to rescue these children under this trafficking condition, especially under bonded labor. The third case I had already shared in one of the meetings. Recently on 15th of August, we received a call that a boy is working in Central Industrial Security Force. That lady herself is a police force, CISF. There's another DBR forum, especially for the Tony. We found out the boy's parent immediately. The next day itself, we were able to track the child's parent, and I made them to speak over the video call, and you must see the emotions of the moment he had to break. So this we found that from Northeast, people are trafficked for domestic work, even to Chennai. During Corona, to give the victims compensation, by my experiences, sometimes these people are not put into jail. Really identify observant, we should be able to have a lot of courage.
That happens after that.
Yeah.
And most of us forget to follow up with those cases also.
Yeah. So in all these three cases, our childline team was involved. On all these three cases, our childline team only really there are child laborers are there. Then we are able to strike a conversation with those boys. Then we will be able to observe. And child labor department, most of the time I gave only success stories. There are unsuccessful stories. We are not able to catch them at the right time. It's very difficult. So we have to network not only child. So it is not only the work of childline. We were only an initiator or a fact finder. But afterwards, the rescue happens only with the help of police, district child protection unit, and special juvenile police unit. And if it is a bonded labor, the revenue department. If it is a child labor, we have to go to child labor department. All this together only we will be able to rescue. Otherwise, we will be in a great trouble, and our staff also will be at risk.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for that answer. So in the end, I would like to say that the power is within you to change the society and to Asian listeners.
So much, Nana. That was an amazing presentation. And also thank you to Sajid and thank you to Father Leo for bringing in light and insight about these two. Start with you. One of the questions that has prominently come up from our listener side also that they are being prey for the traffickers. Like how should we...
important role here. So when it comes to protecting our children, both children and parents should be educated about the pitfalls and risks associated with this. One of the major reasons why parents fall into the trap of traffickers is because they are unaware of some such thing like trafficking. They don't know that something like this exists. And also in our country, we don't talk much about this. Parents should be aware who do traffickers target, how to identify victims, or they should teach their children what traffickers, how to start organizing sessions on child trafficking for children as well as parents. And another way is, like I mentioned in my presentation, the people staying in the locality, they should come together and make sure that child trafficking, so anti-human trafficking unit, it is an international organization backed by governments, including the Indian government. So AHTUs have been set up in different police stations across the country, and they have had they have also had some success past in tracking down trafficking cases. So parents also should be made aware that they can take recourses in AHTUs. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you so much, Nana, for answering it in such detailed manner. I'm sure there are many takeaway points from the answer that you have just shared with us. Thank you so much for that. Now, I would like to address one question to Father Leo. Father, is it possible for us to find out you shared so many details and your sharings and your success stories related to child labor and rescue of child labor. Father, is there any methods or any way through which we can find out whether the child is actually a trafficked child labor or just a child labor?
Them under child labor if it is below 14, and if they are trafficked for bonded labor, book them under child labor as well as bonded labor. And if they are really trafficked, that if you see that these victims are trafficked for their for the work, domestic work, or for any other work, we can also book them under anti-trafficking act. But what happens is we usually in Childline team we identify under child labor. Very few cases we put them under child trafficking. That is because we are not aware of the rules and regulations, and that's why we are booking mostly under Child Labor Act. And now Child Labor Act also has weakened because they brought down the age first. If it is not hazardous job, we don't consider, even if they are working under 14, we do not consider under child labor. During this Corona time, we found there was one child to this job. We could not book under, it's not child trafficking.
Together, talking about this situation will help question to you since you had so much courage to share your experience. I just want
चेंज कर सकता है कि हम लोग जो फैमिलीज जो भी बच्चे लोग चाइल्ड लेबर में इंक्लूड है तो हम लोग फैमिलीज को इतना अवेयर नहीं रहता है या उनकी नीड्स होती है तो हम लोग कॉमन पब्लिक समझ नहीं पाती है. तो अगर हम लोग उनकी सिचुएशन और उन दोनों को अंडरस्टैंड करें तो शायद वो चेंज होके और बेटर और अच्छे से आगे बढ़ सकेगा इंडिविजुअल चाइल्ड. तो क्योंकि फैमिलीज की भी नीड्स होती है या प्रेशर्स होते हैं बच्चे लोग के ऊपर, और या कोई 14 या 16 साल के लड़के होते हैं उनको समझ में आता है कि मेरी फैमिली में ये चीज नहीं है और मुझे करना ही पड़ेगा. तो और एक चीज अच्छा better society बने.
of not being able to support their children, probably this situation can be stopped in the root cause itself. Thank you so much, Saadit, अपनी कहानी share करने के लिए and also अपना experience share करने के लिए. Thank you. So probably there are a lot of situations, there are a lot of causes because of which this issue is coming up, and with time, if more people come together, create awareness, talk about it, discuss about it, and stand against it, maybe the situation can be improved and can be bettered upon. Now I would like to move forward by calling Shruti Roy Chaudhary for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Maheshwari. Thank you, Nana, for sharing with us the few important pointers on child trafficking for labor. You highlighted the steps that we as the general public can take towards reporting this crime and in ways preventing it from taking place right in front of our eyes. You also highlighted a few steps that our children can take. DBR Forum. We thank our children from Margaret Don Bosco Bal Southern, Goa, for their performance. The story was played out today for our discussion. Already been paved for us. It is a bumpy.
Even though the present was very detailed. Thank you so much for doing that. I would just like to bring in your attention to few of the points that had happened in the previous episodes. We would be posting the link of our previous episodes over here in the comment section. So by chance, if you have not seen those episodes, you can also go back and see those episodes. Those episodes were focused on from the basics of what trafficking is, sustainable goals related to trafficking and child labor, and also what are the reasons for trafficking for child labor. Do go back to those videos. Probably that will also help you in getting more in-depth understanding about the situation. The issue of preventing children from being trafficked is big. There are various points of consideration that we need to focus upon, that we need to think upon, join our hands and work against it. Also, we have also got few suggestions in the comment box related to sharing of the success stories. Probably provinces can come together, make small booklets and share these success stories with other people also, which can also help us in motivating. Please don't forget to enroll the trafficking of prevent trafficking of children. So all the resource material will be there if you click on those links. Thank you so much for being